They shoot the shit. They shoot the shit. Shoot, shit, shit. Shooting the shit with Chippa.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit with Chippa. I have a very exciting guest because not only is this guest decided that he actually wanted to speak with me again, but he's also the first person I'm about to mention in my Patreon patron third tier $15 or more patrons that get mentioned on my show. So number one is Mason, who's my guest tonight. Number two is Christopher Finnick. Number three is Patricia Chipman. And number four is Hugh Campbell, who goes by Green Goblin on Twitter, and he was also one of my first guests on the Talkbuster podcast. If you want your name mentioned on the show, just become a $15 or more patron of mine, and I'll talk about you on here. The other tiers that I've got are $1. You get in there, you get access to all my shows 3 days early. If you hit me with a $5 option, you get to pick a topic for either Shooting the Shit or Creating Geeks, and you get access to Chippa Pays It Forward, where I donate $1 to any Patreon of your choosing, and I'll promote them on the show, which I think is a really cool deal. You give me $5, I give somebody $1. It's a pretty good deal. So with that, this show is brought to you by not the Creating Geeks. That's my show. Geeks with Shields podcast, your home for all things good and nerdy, and this is the darkest timeline. I've had those guys on this show frequently, and I've been on their show as well. Please check out Ulrich and Axel's show over on patreon.com/Geeks with Shields. And with that, my guest tonight, like I said, is Mason. Mason, reintroduce yourself to the internet.
Hi, Internet. I'm Mason. I live in Salt Lake City. I work in IT. I have dogs. And I have interesting stories.
And he said dogs, not worms. So, ladies, don't worry.
Thanks for that, buddy.
I don't know. That's just where my brain went. Don't mind me.
Fantastic.
My name is Mason, and I have worms.
I'm attending Worms Anonymous.
Yes, exactly. Oh, man, that's nuts. So you're in Salt Lake City, and I am still in Massachusetts, and we are currently dealing with, speaking of the fact that your Twitter handle is Kill All Nazis, we are dealing with the Nazis and trying to infest us again.
God, I've seen that. And that's the straight pride parade or whatever.
Like, who are they trying to kid? Like, I get it. You know, like, I'm sure some douchebag out there wants to have a straight pride parade, but you read like who the guy organizing it is, and you're like, wow, he's a Proud Boy. Oh shit, Milo Yiannopoulos is going to be their chairperson. Huh?
Motherfucker, wow, read the room.
You're not even trying to hide it, guys. Like, you picked the only gay conservative Nazi to be the head of your straight pride march. That doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
Chris, please, if these people were logical, they wouldn't be like this.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, I thought that was funny. We can talk about that a little bit tonight too. But Mason, you are hitting a new world of my shows in which I'm trying to pitch this silly movie game that I came up with a buddy at work on lunch. We have a couple of movie games we've made, and I'll bore you with one of them. Just as an idea, because me and my friend are crazy and I like talking about it. So we'd go to lunch and we'd say, oh man, cool ideas for movie games. Okay. Inappropriate laugh track. And of course, every one is Schindler's List because it's just inappropriate. And so we left that one to the side. And then we went with, hey, director speed dating. And we realized that this is really only for the most equipped movie fans because, you know, who knows directors, but, you know, us crazy geeks that get way into it. But the idea was you could have two people like, you know, Quentin Tarantino and M. Night Shyamalan, you know, and you got Quentin Tarantino come in and it goes, it's a movie about a guy who's really obsessed with women's feet. And then M. Night Shyamalan, oh, and he himself is a foot. What a twist. You know, was kind of the gag. But then we came up with Right Quote Wrong Movie, which got a lot of legs. I've talked about it with people at parties. And I'm starting to structure it and turn it into an idea that I plan on pitching to make into a card game. So it's played Cards Against Humanity style. You have 10 movie quotes picked from a random number generator in an Excel spreadsheet that I've written. and I have 10 quotes, and then we're going to go 3 rounds, and you and I are going to trade off picking numbers, and that's going to generate a movie. And for that movie, you and I each have to come up with a quote that we think fits that movie the most that isn't a quote from that movie. Um, and so hilarity ensues. And to give you an example, my favorite, the first one I ever came up with playing this with my buddy at lunch was he pulled out, come up with your most inappropriate quote for the Passion of the Christ. And I said, if someone asks if you're a god, you say yes. And it worked out perfectly. My wife's favorite one to use for that is the power of Christ compels you, which is a bit on the nose, but perfect.
That all works.
So anyway, so if you're ready and if the rules make sense, because it is what it is, are you ready to play right quote, wrong movie?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have your quotes in front of you.
Hmm?
Okay, then round 1, pick a number between 3 and 145.
87.
87. Zero Effect. Have you ever seen this film?
No.
All right, pick another number because it only works if we've both seen it.
65.
Session 9.
Isn't that some kind of found footage horror movie or something?
It is. Do you want to go to a different one?
Yeah, I've not seen.
It only works if we've both seen it, dude. That's the whole point. Pick another number.
103.
103. When Harry Met Sally.
Okay, that I've seen.
All right. So you go first with a quote while I'm looking to see if I have one that'll work.
A quote from that movie, or
nope, a quote that you feel would best fit in a funny, ironic, or you think I'd laugh at it or find it ridiculous kind of way. So it's like Cards Against Humanity. You're trying to find something that'll make the other person think, oh yeah, that's perfect, but it's not from that movie.
Okay.
Because you probably have a quote from that movie, because there's like 4 on my list from that movie.
Yep. All right, give me a second.
No worries. This is what makes it fun. Do.
Not helping.
I know. I'm just being a jerk. All right, I got one.
God, I don't know why I'm blanking on this.
No, dude, it's okay. This is perfect. I got one if you want me to go first.
You go
All right.
first.
Unfortunately, you don't have the balls to back up the actions of your huge cock from 4 Rooms for When Harry Met Sally. Place that in whatever scene you see fit.
Oh. God damn, what the fuck was that from?
Oh, you're gonna do a gimme? You're gonna pull one that I didn't give you? That's fine.
Okay. I'm gonna use one of the ones you gave me. No wire hangers ever from
See,
Mommy
yeah, you win. I'm not even. We'll let the internet vote when I post this episode, but that takes the cake for me. All right, so Mason with 1. That's awesome. Jesus Christ. Have you ever seen Mummy Dearest? That's a fucked up movie.
I've heard too many things about it to ever want to see it.
And that quote is so screwed up.
Uh-huh.
All right. So round 2, a number between 3 and 145. Go.
40.
40. Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
I have seen that.
Oh boy.
God help me.
All right, I'm going to go with one while you're picking. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue from Airplane.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Apocalypse Now.
Jesus. Imagine if Jimmy Neutron just ended with mass genocide.
I mean, kind of does.
Oh, no, that's true. It is a Steve Odekirk movie. I think you get that one, too. All right, one more. 3 to 145, my friend.
17.
17. It'd be funny if I knew what these were going to come up. This is a surprise to me. Nope, neither of us have seen that. Cook the Thief, Wife, and His Lover. Nope, that's one my buddy added. I'm going to go with 16. Let's see what we got. Clerks.
Yep, I've seen that.
Well, all right. All right, go ahead.
I got one. Don't shoot yourself. Don't shoot each other, and especially don't shoot me.
Oh, that works really well for the alternate ending.
Yes,
too.
that's what I was thinking.
I think you went meta with that. So the best I've got is the quote from Ferris Bueller Days Off. Life moves around pretty fast, but if you don't stop to look around once in a while, you could miss it, which is like the perfect, like Silent Bob would say it in one of these movie things.
That
but I
sounds
think
more like, that kind of fits more with Clerks too, honestly.
I agree. I'm thinking I'm giving you 3 for 3, man. Yours is way too fitting because it goes with the deep dive. So what do you think? That's right quote, wrong movie. Think about playing that with a group of your friends and having like 1,000 quotes at your disposal.
Oh man,
right?
me and Will would end up in a fucking fist fight with this stupid thing.
That's awesome. So on I have a patron hangout with the Geeks with Shields folks coming up, and they want me to bring this and send everybody in the patron hangout 10 quotes and play it with them.
That would be fucking crazy.
Yeah, so I actually have a guy, and I can't say what his name is yet, but I have a guy coming on this show in a month or two to pitch something that's a board game manufacturer. And I'm thinking of pitching this to him then to figure out how I'd go about making this.
There you go. Put him on the spot while you're recording.
I mean, he could also say, I'll talk to you about it after too. I have his ear. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's that. Thank you for indulging me. And with that, Mason, let's update the world on where you and I are at since we talked last and see if we can see where this conversation is going to go. And welcome back to Shooting the Shit with Chippa. The floor is yours, my friend.
All right. So I'm not sure. So this first thing, I'm not really sure plays on a podcast, but you may not have increased the size of your family since the last time we talked, but I have. So, I have adopted a new dog.
Awesome.
I just sent you a couple pictures in Skype.
This is going to be great. It's going to be visuals. Oh my goodness. Look at you.
That's Layla. She is a half red-nosed pit bull, half blue-nosed pit bull. She is, let's see, she was 8 weeks when I got her at the end of December.
And are the spots natural hair color?
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool.
She look. She look. It was between her, who looks fucking crazy unique, and a black dog with a white stripe. Those were the options.
No, she's awesome, dude.
I know she's fantastic. She is she is goddamn terror right now because she's a puppy and she has all that puppy energy.
So how many dogs do you have, Mason?
Two, which is the maximum number.
You see, that is the maximum number anyone should ever have. I agree. It's like kids. Oh, that's so cool.
She's fantastic. She's a big love bug. Every night I go to bed, and then like 10 minutes later, she hops up in the bed.
Are you cool if I post these pictures when I post the episode? All right.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna save them while we're talking, just so people are like, you ever thought of you ever heard Mitch Hedberg before?
Yes.
He has those classic jokes where I'm going to do a whole bunch of jokes you guys need to be here to see now. And you're going to be like, what the fuck? My favorite is he's going, I like to hold the microphone cord like this. And you don't have to see him to know what he's doing. And he goes, and then I let the microphone cord go and you hear a whole bunch of jokes at once. He's like kinking a hose. Yeah. Yep. And I'm like, that's genius.
Oh, God. So, yes, I got up Layla. She is fantastic. It's funny when I first got her. I've been wanting to get a pit forever because they're such good dogs and they have such a bad reputation.
They do. Does Utah have any weird rules with home insurance and stuff about them? Because around here, my parents had a mixed breed that happened to have some Jack Russell Terrier in it, and they equate that immediately to pit bull, and they freak the fuck out, and they wouldn't insure her house, and it was obnoxious. I'm like, they're the sweetest dogs. Stop it.
Yeah, there's no state statute, but when I was looking to move into this neighborhood or whatever, this was one of the only houses I was looking at where they didn't have any kind of breed restrictions, which is fucking stupid. It's not the breed that's bad. It's
the human.
It's whatever. Let me ask you a question. Speaking of dogs, in Massachusetts, do they charge pet rent?
Yes.
For is that not the dumbest fucking thing in the world?
Yep. They even charged me pet rent for my rabbit.
It's
which
a fucking
wasn't
rabbit. What's it
which
gonna do?
wasn't on the pet rent stipulation. And then when they found out we had the rabbit, they sent us a bill.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, it wasn't on the paperwork I signed.
Like what? Do you have to sit there and like pay extra rent when you have kids? No.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, pet rent is a big deal around here, and it's asininely expensive.
Yeah, it's like it's over here. It's like $35 per pet.
Per what? Per month or per
No,
year?
per month.
Yeah, that's a lot of money
Per
when you
month
break
per
it down.
pet.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, when I first got Layla, I was trying. My the people who own this house and run the thing are like impossible to get a hold of. So I tried to get a hold of them for, like once a week for a couple of months before I just gave up. And like, okay, well, I'm trying to call you guys and let you know what's going on, but you don't want to answer the phone. So fine. So when I finally did get in touch with them like 2 months ago, I told them about that, and I was kind of afraid they were going to sit there and say, well, now you're going to owe us back pet rent, but they didn't.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, go fuck yourselves. It's not my fault you can't answer a fucking phone or respond to an email.
Yeah, at least they were cool about it like that.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of like an extra security deposit that they can't charge you when you don't have pets. I get it for like cleaning,
But you
but it's
still
just
put down a pet deposit.
exactly.
There's no point to it other than line my pockets, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly. How dare you get to have fun and enjoy life without me making money off of it?
This is why I'm looking to buy a house at the end of when my lease is up in a year.
It's a wonderful thing. It's very strangely, even though it's more money, you end up with more money, and I don't quite know how it works. I've been trying to figure it out. It's like a little magic knapsack of money. It's very strange. Like I was like, oh, we incurred all this debt, you know, having kids and having student loans, and I was like, oh, my house doubled in how much it's worth. What? My rent can, my mortgage can go up $450 a month, and I can pay all my debt off. Yes, of course I'll do that. You know what I
Well,
mean?
when you're renting like a house or an apartment, you're practically just firing money into a black hole.
Right. You're helping somebody else with their freaking mortgage. That's all you're doing.
It's fucking stupid. But whatever. I didn't come on here to bitch about housing properties.
No, it's ridiculous, dude. And I don't think it matters where you go in the country. It's ridiculous. It just changes how much it costs.
Hmm.
That's about all it is.
Well, thankfully Utah has a pretty decent economy, or at least if it has a bad economy, I'm on the good end of it. So
Well, you're in IT, which is good. The world needs that. I don't know if you probably haven't heard it yet. You might have heard it. It only dropped last night, 2 nights ago, I think. Well, last night. But the newest episode of no, earlier in the week. I'm losing my mind on what I'm releasing when. The newest episode of Talkbuster had as the last IT person working for the company.
no, I haven't heard that one, but I did hear you promoting that on the one with Sandy.
Oh,
so
it's such a good episode.
I have it waiting on my phone, so I will definitely be listening to that.
I hate to toot my own horn, but that was a cool find. It's my first delving into corporate interviews for people that worked at that side. He started his own IT firm just to support the franchises, and he's still supporting Sandy and them out in Bend is the last store, which I think is really cool.
That's crazy. That takes
Isn't it nuts?
That takes a level of dedication that you just don't see anymore.
Well, especially since his entire business model is supporting what, a 20-year out-of-date operating system
Yeah.
that they haven't updated.
Hey, you know what? I give that guy a lot of credit for being able to do that because I go, so I got a new job.
Oh, since we talked last?
Since we talked last, I
Oh,
left.
cool! Congratulations. I
Yes,
hope it's a good new job.
It is. So I left L3, and the reasoning behind that was I was a contractor, but and I'm not trying to sit there and like throw shade at this company or whatever. L3 was a great company. I loved working there. I had nothing bad to say about the people I worked for. However, the corporate seemed really, let's call it short-sighted as far as IT goes.
That sounds like so many people.
It is. But like their whole thing, it was like there's four of us doing this work. Two people there were direct hires, and it was me and another guy that were contractors. And so I had been there for a year and a half, and I'm like, okay, when am I gonna? They said we can only extend your contract 3 times legally because they work with the U.S. government. They have to follow certain regulations. So we only extend your contract 3 times. After that, we have to hire you. So I let them. They extended my contract after the first 5 months till the end of the year. That's 1. Then they extended it 3 months. That's 2. Then they extended it another 3 months. That's 3. So at the end of that 3 months, I'm like, okay, we going to be hiring me? And they're like, well, we'd like to, but there's a hiring freeze now with L3, and the only people they're actually hiring directly is engineers. So we can like extend you out again. And I'm like, that's not the agreement.
Can you legally do that?
I mean, they did it. They did do it. They extended me out like another 7 months or whatever. And I'm like, hold on, wait. You say you have rules, and you're willing to break those rules, but you're not willing to break this whole hiring freeze bullshit that you put on yourselves? What?
Uh-oh. Yeah, that
So-
sounds like they don't really have any sight.
No, they really don't. So I'm like, okay, well, then I am going to start looking. I continue working there, but I'm going to start throwing my resume out. Like, I very much let them know I have to do. Mason has to do what's best for Mason. And I found a job working with Delta Airlines over at
Cool.
over at the airport. And even if I wasn't in dire straits with L3, the an extra $6 an hour
Oh, damn.
is that's quite an incentive.
That's not a small bump.
It's not nothing.
Jesus.
So,
all right. Wow.
So I mean, don't get me wrong, the airport work is difficult and can be, mentally and physically frustrating, but you know what? It's the pay is good, and look, they pay me well enough to deal with the increased amount of bullshit that I have to deal with.
That's exactly what a pay raise should be.
It is.
Instead of, you increased my bullshit and didn't give me any more pay? Thanks.
I've worked at too many jobs where it's like the amount of responsibilities you have goes up while the pay stays the same, and it's like
Oh yeah, I got a promotion since we last spoke that came entirely from me going, you just told us at a big meeting that you were about to double the size of the company. I already get kicked and beaten all day long every day, and I accept it because I like this job, but if the beating is going to double, you have to kind of tell me how I'm doing and give me something to, and they were like, oh shit, yeah. And a month or 2 later, they came back with a new title and a big pay bump. And I was like, oh, okay. Sweet.
There you go.
And they were like, don't change anything you're doing. Don't stop. I'm like, all right.
You are already doing the right thing. Yes, everybody loves hearing that.
That made me feel really good because I do this so I can feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
This is my hey, you're doing a good job, Chris. Feedback is these shows.
Yeah. I hear you. So that happened. That was fun. But I mean, again, look, things change. I'm happy. I'm happy about it. Delta seems to like me. I've been there for like 2 months now.
Oh, that's awesome. And the airlines don't go anywhere, so that's good news.
It's evergreen. They will until we get this whole beaming thing figured out. I'm pretty sure my job is secure.
It's your head. It's on backwards.
Oh no!
Why did anybody tell me my asshole was so big?
Oh, Spaceballs. I've seen that movie way too much.
Classic.
Is Mel Brooks still kicking around?
He is. Still does Broadway.
Jesus Christ.
The threat, I wouldn't call it a threat. Sorry, that's mean to him. He keeps kicking around that he's going to come back and do another Spaceballs movie to kind of riff on how they're back doing Star Wars movies again. He keeps threatening it.
Well, if he's gonna do it, not to say anything bad about the guy, if he's gonna do it, he doesn't have very long. He has managed to somehow outlive Stan Lee, who we all thought was fucking immortal. So if he's gonna do it, now's the time.
Yeah, Mel Brooks is in his 90s.
Oh God.
He's 92.
Jesus. And he's still completely with it as far as we can tell.
Yeah, no, he just did they played a year or two ago. They did a Fathom event where they simulcast Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles are two separate occasions, and he did the introduction at the beginning of the simulcast. And from what I heard people say, he was completely on point. Just like, and so that's awesome, man.
That's good. Yeah, comedy keeps the mind sharp, I suppose.
He's a character, man. He's been around forever. He's basically, he's one of those people that's about as old as you can be in Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, that's about it.
Like the fact that he's still working and not just sitting back enjoying his retirement. Just like he's the kind of guy. He's clearly the kind of guy. Is like if he sits still for more than a week, he starts going crazy.
It's cool. It's cool to see how he changed too. Like if you go back through his movies, they jump around. Like he wasn't just always stuck in old time Hollywood. Like he upgraded for the westerns with Blazing Saddles. He upgraded for blockbuster sci-fi epics with Spaceballs, and then he went ahead and did a cool riff on like 1950s 60s Errol Flynn style Robin Hood movies, but also had a completely nowadays sort of self-referential like Shrek kind of humor that his movies never had before.
And seeing
with Robin Hood Men in Tights, and
right,
it's like so out there.
Well, but also think about it. It's Men in Tights is probably the last good movie to feature Robin Hood. Because every time they look at like this past decade, they tried to do it with Russell Crowe, and that was a shit show. They tried to do it with Taron Egerton and fucking Jamie Foxx, and that was a fucking disaster.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Don't worry, so did everybody else.
That was the one where like Robin Hood was actually the king, right?
Which one?
The one with Taron Egerton?
No, that was the one where it was all an allegory about Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
And then he had like he had like the movie end like climax with him basically creating medieval Anonymous or something.
Oh yeah, no, that's bad.
It was fucking the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Oh no.
Because it kept insisting on how like serious it was. It's like, motherfucker, this is about a guy. This is basically a Green Arrow movie. It can't be serious. You cannot make this serious.
Pay attention to us. We have idea.
Don't you mean ideas? No.
No, we mean idea.
Singular.
That's it. Singular. That's all we got. So what are your character's motivation? We have idea. Make character do idea.
Character invent democracy somehow.
What's your main character? Man. What else? White man. All right. Anything else? There's also woman and bad man. Oh, okay. Yep. Bad man allegory for democracy. Okay, no, we're done here.
all these cookie cutter things they are really putting the caulk in Caucasian.
That is good. I thought oh damn. Oh, that's bad. They really put the cock in Caucasian. I like that. That's real good. So what else is going on, man? Outside of us talking about Robin Hood's cock, which is what I'm going to tell everyone we were just talking about. No,
I mean, you know what? And they'll listen to the podcast and just like and give you the whole body snatchers point and scream thing. Like,
yeah, people are going to have zoned out and just hear me say that and go, "Oh wow, okay." So now this is what this podcast is about. We get it.
Or they'll hear that weird noise I did and perk up like, "Well, what? No, I was listening." Huh?
We swear, you guys are interesting.
It's not just two idiots rambling incoherently at each other.
Oh, it hasn't gotten incoherent yet.
Oh, give it time. We've only been doing this for 15 minutes thus far.
32.
Give or take.
No. So what else is going on? What have you what's been big on your radar of awesomeness since we talked last? You seen anything cool you wanted to talk about?
I did see Godzilla.
Yeah, and
last weekend, it's fucking incredible.
Okay, cool. I was about to say, do I have to press the electrocute button that I have secretly attached to you?
No.
If you, oh my God. So
I've been
I
telling
remember,
everybody. I've been telling all of my friends. Like, I talked to my brother earlier. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, dude, hold on. Let me just lay this out for you. And I told him a couple things that happened in the movie. He's like, okay, I need to see this. I'm like,
it's
fucking yeah, you do.
it's the strangest thing because everybody that I feel is calling this movie dumb. And I don't mean to say that it's not silly. It's silly. It's a Godzilla movie. But everybody who's calling it dumb, I really feel, and I mean no offense by this, are too dumbed down by the way modern blockbusters are delivered to
Yeah.
understand what they made here. Because this movie, it's complete fan service at the same time being completely respectful of what it's a movie of and the fans of this movie, and it layers its story in a way that I haven't seen a movie since uh, Fury Road layer the
Yeah.
way it just delivers its
Yes.
story. Like, because Fury Road, if you want to take it at the front of your face, what's going on? Yes, action movie, people in cars, people fight, there's gore, there's fights, there's action, that's it. Godzilla movie, big monsters fight, there's people involved, yada, yada, yada. But as soon as you sit back and think about what it really is saying, there's a ton there, man.
I mean, sure, delivered in a ridiculous and ham-fisted
Yeah.
way, of course,
Oh,
because it's a fucking
absolutely.
monster movie.
Absolutely, but the best monster movies are, nuanced in a way where it's like if you want to take something more away from this, it's there. You know, I've been watching Mike Dougherty, who is a great freaking director, and I can't believe he jumped from Krampus to this
I loved
without
Krampus.
I love it too, but just without a movie in between to show that
Right.
you can go from, small scale, really cool genre movie to fucking balls to the wall Godzilla action set piece is like, wow, okay, cool. But he's been answering people's questions about like the eyes on Mothra's wings mimicking Godzilla's and that being like a callback to the fact that yes, moths do that, especially when they've been around something they look at as friendly and not a hurt to them because they're trying to drive other predators away by, kind of becoming symbiotic with something else. And so we made sure Mothra's wings had those eyes that looked like Godzilla. And it's like, really? People making dumb Michael Bay movies don't put that kind of thought into how a character looks. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic. I had not heard
And it
that.
has nothing to do with the story. It's just a cool little addition of like, hey, if you wanted to, here's some character development. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And I think that's amazing.
And the fact that, just the fact that you can call these gigantic monsters who have no lines in the movie characters, and you can understand what they're doing, what they're thinking, or whatever. Be it King Ghidorah's I'm King shit of fuck mountain now, or
Yes.
Rodan being like a fucking toady,
I
the
loved
toadiest of
that
toadies.
with Rodan climbing up the mountain under him. Like, okay, I guess I serve you now.
I like that shit where it's like Rodan's like Rodan is Starscream.
Yep.
Rodan is fucking Starscream. It walks in like I'm the leader, and Ghidra's like, nope, fuck you, I'm Ghidra. Pwumph.
And
And
I love that. Someone
that's
said
that.
this. Someone said this earlier. I described how great Godzilla King of the Monsters was to somebody by telling them this. The giant flaming dinosaur bird pterodactyl monster is the least interesting monster in the movie. And they go, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Yeah."
You heard me. Did I fucking stutter?
And Rodan still has one of the greatest introductions of any monster in any movie ever, and he's still the lamest monster in the movie.
Man, I wish, I would love to have that kind of introduction when I enter a place. Uh-oh, here comes Mason exploding out of a motherfucking volcano.
Oh, and he's also on fire now. Don't worry.
And also everything he gets within a mile of is just bursts into flames for no reason.
Oh god,
Because fuck you, that's why.
it was so friggin' good, and it makes me so sad that one, nobody's going to see it,
Mhm.
and two, that means the production. They've already announced that they're
I
doing
saw.
reshoots on Kong versus Godzilla, and they're pushing it back,
Okay,
which
you know
is
what?
ridiculous. I
Hope
mean, granted, if they're fixing it because holy shit, it's not as good as this movie, great, but
Right.
I don't think that's why they're fixing it.
You know what? I hope someone at Warner Brothers and Legendary realizes what they have here.
Well, they realized that they made the fans happy. And again, I get it. You made a $170
It's
million
an
movie. You want to make money off of it.
Okay, but it's a fucking it's a these big scale kaiju movies. These are niche movies. Yes, they be for all audiences? Hell yeah, I loved Pacific Rim, but but you know what? My father is not gonna go see that shit. He's not
No,
interested in that shit.
no. It's why I can't get angry at someone for not getting this movie, but I can feel I feel bad that they don't get it because it makes me so happy that I feel bad that someone else can't find that joy in it. You know?
Son, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, it's like what thing had to happen to you in your life to make you so cynical that you can't watch this and just have a great big level of joy
Yeah.
come out of, finding the underwater Atlantis style temple that Godzilla supposedly lives in. You know
Stupidest
what I
fucking
mean?
thing in the world.
And
It's
I
so
loved
dumb. It's
everything
so
about it.
dumb.
I loved everything about it, and it is so dumb, and I loved it. I'm just like, Godzilla comes from Atlantis. Thank you, movie. Yes,
And then and
yes.
then I saw someone point this out, and me being a dog person, I now can't unsee this. And then when they shortly after they discover the secret Atlantis underground city where Godzilla lives, Dr. Serizawa gets to give him the greatest snoot boop of all
Yep.
time.
Yes, he does. It's so good. Everything about that says so much about the character, and so much about Godzilla, for that matter. And
God.
it's wonderful.
Mhm.
It's just a big, loud, and again, also there's people shitting on the action being bad. I don't know what movie they were watching.
Yeah, that was
I could
what?
see everything that was going on. It had geography to it. It was very well choreographed. Did you see that thing I pointed out, or maybe you saw it in the end credits where they credit the monsters as themselves?
Yes, I saw that.
It's the
That was
best
awesome.
friggin' thing I've ever seen.
Again, because they're characters in their own right. They're
Right.
not. It's a
Right. You're
it's not the.
seeing them again. This isn't the first time they've been on screen. They're back.
Mm.
Like, we're completely nodding to you that you already know who all these things are. You know?
If you don't know who fucking Rodan and Mothra are, why the fuck are you going to see this?
Exactly. It should just start with that. Like, why are you here? Like, like we're going to list 4 names on the screen. If you don't recognize them, we'll give you a refund on your ticket.
If you don't recognize these names, you'll know the exits to your theater are to the left and to
Yes.
the right.
Yes. You're welcome to go see Rocket Man. It's across the hall.
I'm sure I'm sure there's still some playtimes for Endgame. Go have fun.
Right. Right.
Oh my
Yeah, and
god.
again, I equate the experience watching this movie is very similar to what I had watching Endgame.
hmm
It was just a great big pile of, oh, thank God, finally.
hmm
The
Yeah.
whole time.
I mean, to be fair, I was not causing nearly as much of a ruckus watching this movie as I clearly was during Endgame. There
Well,
were
Endgame has a much larger buildup. Like what
sure.
we've been kind of beaten down by the fact that you're not going to get to see awesome stuff in a Godzilla movie anytime soon. And I feel like my reaction to Godzilla being a badass in the 2014 movie, even though that movie is a much lesser movie, I stood up and cheered during that movie because there's only like 3 times where he does something cool, but they're
Sure.
all so perfect,
hmm
you know? But I thought back on this movie and I'm like, every scene in this movie is as good as those 3 scenes in that last movie. But
Right.
yeah, Endgame is building on a much bigger thing, but it's that same emotion. It's that emotion of payoff. Like, we get it. We get that you've been waiting for this. Here you go. You know? I like that.
Panderers pander.
Exactly. And I had almost wished that there was like the director just came up at the end of the movie and looked out and did that line from Endgame. You were expecting more? You know what I mean?
That shit was fantastic.
Is this
Oh my
it?
god.
You were expecting more?
Oh, I'm sorry. Doctor Strange showed just like, oh, I'm sorry, and opens up a portal and the fucking Millennium Falcon comes through. Happy
Uh,
motherfuckers!
the Millennium Falcon carrying the cast of Toy Story.
There you
It's
go.
just like, what the fuck?
There, there you go.
Here you go. And here's Elsa and frickin' Olaf
Yeah,
for you because
sure.
we own this shit. Here you go.
God. I worry that they're gonna do that at some point. Like, are they just? Is Disney just gonna start crossing over all the shit they own? Is there gonna be like a Muppet Toy Story? And
You know,
I know there already was one. It's called The Secret Life of Toys. I remember being 7 years old. Thank you. I get it, but that's not what I mean.
I've always hoped that they kind of started doing like Muppet stuff the way they did the Lego movies, though.
I would
I
love
would
that.
I would love to see like Muppet Avengers. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I really do. I think that'd be a blast. Because I think the Muppets are best suited to that.
Mhm.
My favorite Muppet movies are the ones where they're playing caricatures of themselves, even
Sure.
like the Muppets Take Manhattan, where it's just like, so you're playing meta versions of yourselves. Okay, you're puppets. You don't get to be meta,
I have not
but you're
seen
gonna
those
be.
original three Muppet movies
Oh, they're
since I was a kid.
so fucking good.
Do they
Like,
hold up?
oh my God, yeah. Especially the Muppet movie and Muppets Take Manhattan. Caper is, like, have you seen the Lego movies?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so you know how Lego Ninjago, I really like Lego Ninjago actually, and I'm
Mhm.
annoyed that so many people didn't like it.
It
You
was
know,
a fun time. I
yeah,
enjoyed it.
but but you hear the way you said that, like it was a fun time. Like, so as a fan, I love the crap out of it, but it didn't really do much more than just be the Lego Ninjago movie, you know? The Great Muppet Caper is like that. It's like, okay, we decided to do a Muppet riff on a very particular genre. Like they do a Muppet riff on like a mystery James Bond kind of thing, but they
Mhm.
don't have much else to say other than the joke. It's very one note.
Mhm.
And so the one note joke of wouldn't it be funny if the Muppets were in a caper movie is really clever and they do a great job, but that's as far as they go with it. And the Muppets Most Wanted was the same problem, that more recent
Yes.
one,
Yeah.
where I really dig that movie. The jokes are great, but
Mhm.
it's very one note, whereas the Muppets, as like a resurgence of the Muppet movie, like built its own world that was, I felt, so much bigger and had so much more going on that
Yeah.
when they got to kind of a more one note directed joke, it felt like lesser of a movie to me. And that's how the Great Muppet Caper is. It's like, oh, you could have been a little bit better than this.
They need to put the Muppets back on TV.
That
Like I
Muppet
think
show
that's
that was on recently was
it
great.
was no, I loved it, and it ended perfectly. But then it ended rather like, all right, can't wait to see season two.
Yeah, and I thought they
Like,
fit really well with the Office style gag.
mhm,
I thought that worked with the Muppets great.
right,
Um,
it was good stuff.
yeah, yeah, I'm not really sure what I feel bad about that because maybe it'll get a resurgence on Disney's streaming app.
Everything will at some point.
Hey, have we tried this yet?
I don't know. Hopefully, hey, hopefully Disney actually pays attention to their contracts and doesn't pull a fucking Swamp Thing like Warner Brothers did.
Oh my God. Yeah, have
No,
you been
no, I
reading about
didn't.
that?
I was reading. I was reading about that, and it's like, wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry. Did someone mistake the number 14 for the number 40, and now all these productions are fucked? Is that what happened?
Especially
What?
especially since
Who's
it's
running
like
this?
especially since it's been like critically and fan acclaimed as like, holy shit, this is the best thing DC has done. And then
Because
they
they
just,
spent more money than they reasonably could have afforded on it. That's why.
yeah, damn.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's a shame too, because DC almost seems to be riding their ship a little bit. Did you see Shazam?
Hell yeah, I saw Shazam. I saw
Shazam
it.
is wonderful.
It was. I was. Oh my god. I was like. Kept saying like if there got I will walk out of this movie if he does not grab someone, lean back and scream his name and have the lightning hit them, and they totally did that, and I was like, fucking yeah.
it it was just such a well crafted little movie, and again, look at that as a perfect example. That movie is a hit. Why is it a hit? Because they didn't spend a ton of money on it. So the movie only made $300 or $400 million, but they spent 60 million bucks on it. You know what I mean?
That's a
And
bigger profit margin than a lot
Right.
more of their movies.
Right.
You got to earn your way back up to these. Oh, we
Exactly.
spent $300 million making this stupid thing. Like,
And I
why?
guarantee now, if they make another Shazam, it's going to make double that because the
Hmm.
word of mouth got around. People loved it, and
Hmm.
and, and I told some friends, they were like, well, "What did you think of Shazam?" I said, "It's the best Superman movie that we haven't gotten yet." You know what I mean? It reminded me of a Christopher Reeve Superman movie. It had just enough danger, just enough reality, and the guy playing Shazam played that pure innocence manifested so perfectly. You know what I mean? That
It was a fucking riot.
it was just, and even with the fact that the movie spent a little bit too much time with the villain, but at least they were trying to write a villain you could relate to. Good
Hmm.
on you, movie. You know what I mean? Like it was great, and the fact that they brought the New Line logo back just for it to remind
Yeah.
people this is what we're going for. We want it to
Yep.
feel like a New Line movie. All right, sweet, I'm
It
down.
it definitely felt like a New Line movie. I don't know
It
how the hell they did that, but they did. I can imagine finding this movie on the Blockbuster shelf in like 1996 or so.
Right, like this being like a straight to video thing. That, oh, do you like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? You'll love Shazam. You know what I mean? Like I could see like that being the kind of thing going on. It's just, it was great. The kids felt real. They felt, well rounded, like they wrote them and they
Hmm.
existed in the world they were in instead of the other way around. And
Sure.
I really like how this movie, when I went and saw this, it had trailers for Captain Marvel, and Captain Marvel had trailers for this.
Yeah.
And they had no reason that they had to do that for each other. But I loved that idea of, you know what? You fans are going to turn this into a pit one against the other because one used to be the other, yada, yada, yada. We're not going to play that game. We're going to lift each other up because both of these movies can exist. And I
Yes.
thought that was really cool because they were both really good movies. And so
Hmm.
I was really happy with them both. I will say that I think Shazam feels a little bit more of a um it feels like it's trying a little harder, if that's anything. I feel like trying a little harder to make sure you like it, whereas
Yeah.
Captain Marvel is riding on the laurels of we're just fucking great at this. Look at how good we are at this, and
Well,
I
sure.
loved it, and I loved it for it. But I felt like Shazam had a lot more to prove,
Mm.
should I say? Um,
It's
which
a. I
is
mean, if you think about it, it's a weird fucking
it is a
concept.
really fucking weird movie,
It's
dude.
that shit is. I mean, it's like within the first 15 minutes, it's like, oh, this, oh, oh, we're doing that, and then like the end credit scene was like, oh, okay, so there is no limit to how silly
Yeah.
this is gonna
There
get.
is not a single limit to how silly this is going to get, and I love how it did the Marvel thing where the DC movies don't really do this, where it kind of makes fun of the superhero stuff, but not in a condescending way, like in a
Right.
this is silly way when he's like, say my name and grab upon my staff. Oh no, dude, gross. Like that's awesome.
Well, because every other, so every other incarnation of Billy Batson I had seen, like realized in motion, Justice League Unlimited and
Yep,
the Superman Shazam short that they put out a couple years ago, The Return
yep.
of Black Adam. Like both of them basically made Billy Batson seem like fucking Christ. And that's not like, you don't need to fucking do that. He can pure of heart is like this incredibly nebulous concept.
And
He
it
does
doesn't mean perfect.
it does not mean perfect. It just means, hey, don't be a dick to those who don't deserve it. That's
Well,
what I think pure of heart
also
means.
it means when faced with the toughest of situations, you're going to make the right decision. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be a dick along the way.
Right.
And that's a really important thing to note, that your purpose in the way you protect and take care of the people around you is not the same as necessarily how you carry yourself. And and I like that about the story. Like you don't have to be the smartest, the most intelligent, the most loved, the most interesting person to be the chosen one or
Mhm.
anything else of that nature. You can just be a regular schmo, and it's the thing that annoys people about the Star Wars movies, as it were, as of late.
Well, but the funny thing is, if you actually watch the fucking movie, you see it's very clearly obvious that once Billy Batson finally gets to the Rock of Eternity, uh, the you know the old wizard played by Jaimin Hansu in a interesting interpretation of the old wizard
Yes,
trope.
yes, I enjoyed it.
Once he gets there, it's very clear that that old wizard Shazam is just like, fuck it, I got 5 minutes left to live. Good enough. Let's go.
Yep, I loved that. Like whoever came next, basically, as long as they weren't the bad guy again.
Yeah, it's yeah. If there was ever a perfect encapsulation of don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
dude, that's awesome. Did you catch any of the E3 insanity today?
I did. I was at work and or recovering from work for most of the day because on Saturdays I get to work from 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and
Oh, that's a great shift.
oh, it's a fan. You know what? It's a fantastic shift if you like having an afternoon free. It's not a great shift if you find yourself unable to fucking sleep the night before.
Yeah, or if you have to be up at, oh no, what is it for you right now? 11?
It is 10:45.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I didn't keep you up too late.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I took a nap. I'm recovered. I'll probably be up till like 2. So
Nice,
whatever.
nice.
It's a hey man, it's the weekend for me. I got Sunday and Monday off. I'm cool.
Woohoo! The weekend.
Yeah, the weird the weird IT weekend, but the weekend nonetheless.
Yes, the weird IT weekend, the 10-hour period between this time and that time.
When all computers know it is okay to be naughty.
Right. Or when all computers decide to just function for some reason.
No, that's never. That is what computers decide to function about 5 minutes after you put in a ticket saying they aren't functioning.
That is true.
Oh, so I have an interesting question that will lead into a topic.
Sure. That's probably going to be more interesting than E3 because nothing really happened.
Yeah, well, it hasn't started yet. Let's wait a week and then collect our thoughts on that. It's not
Exactly. No, I just happened to catch the Star Wars.
I saw. Hey, I saw that. It looks fine.
It looks like a lot of fun.
I
don't know.
You know what? I like that they give you a dedicated freeze that person / blaster bolt / whatever in midair,
Yeah.
a la Kylo Ren at the first 5 minutes of Force Awakens.
Freeze the blaster bolt, then force grab the guy and walk him into the frozen blaster bolt thing is the coolest thing in that game, and I'll be doing that over and over again.
Oh yeah. Oh God, why do we even have armor on these guys? What's the point?
Exactly. Anyway, you probably have a more interesting topic. So what was it?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a thing? Because I think you're a couple of years older than me. Have you
I am
ever?
35.
Yeah, you're about 18 months older than me. I'm turning 34 in 4 days.
Oh,
Yay.
finally, it's good to talk to people that are close to my age again. I had some great guests on, but it's like, how old are you? And they're like, oh, I just got out of college. And I go, oh, fuck.
Oh, you sweet summer child. But anyway, so did you ever have a thing that you enjoyed when you were younger, but then as you got older, you kind of looked back on your time enjoying that, and and it was just nothing but I can't, like, why the fuck did I enjoy that? And like every time you think about that thing, it's like brain cringe.
Yes.
Okay, what was that for you?
Oh man, a few things. Let's see. Large bottomed pants, like Jenkos and kickwear.
Those are so dumb.
Chain wallets.
Also stupid.
And rap rock, like Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 for right now. I'll come up with more. But those are my 3.
I will absolutely comp to being in that Limp Bizkit camp when I was a dumbass fucking high schooler. I never had a chain wallet, and I didn't really wear jeans, let alone jeans with a 3-mile wide leg radius.
Yes, in the pocket that went down to your ankle that you could like carry a person around in. I definitely wore those.
I don't think they make belts strong enough nowadays.
Yeah,
For that sort of shit.
Those are my cringe for right now, my cringe-worthy things. I'll come up
So
with more.
So I bring this up because within the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, I finally allowed myself to start enjoying the Dragon Ball franchise again.
Oh, that's awesome. A couple episodes ago, we got into Dragon Ball randomly too. This is great. Let's go.
Well, so here's the thing. So just like every other, idiot teenager, I really enjoyed watching DBZ on Toonami when I was in high school and when I was a
Yep.
kid, and it was fun, it was cool, but like as I got older and got like to college and beyond that, I was like, what the fuck was this? It's just a bunch of dudes. It's just a bunch of dudes screaming and throwing random words
Just
out of their mouth
screaming and
shit happens.
flexing. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like that's dumb. I hate that I enjoyed it. I'm going to avoid it like the fucking plague now. And of course that's that's difficult because that shit is still popular and it's fucking evergreen. So I'll tell you what got me to rethink that is Giant Bomb, the gaming website. Two of the editors over there, Jeff Gerstmann and Dan Reichert.
Oh yeah.
All the guys over there are fun, but goddamn, Dan Reichert is like the human equivalent of an RPG character that has very mediocre stats, but just put all their points into luck.
Yep. Good form.
If that guy, if it turns out that guy had like a magic lamp this whole time, it would not be surprising. Anyway, excuse me.
It's all good.
Anyway, so after Dragon Ball Fighters came out, and the whole website basically went insane, and the whole internet went gaga for it, they decided, okay, well, some of the editors were familiar enough with that stuff, but some of them weren't. So Jeff and Dan started a podcast called All Systems Goku, and which is a pretty good name. I personally would have gone with the Spirit Bombcast, but whatever.
I think both of those just beg you to listen.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, okay. I guess I've decided what I'm gonna do for the rest of my weekend.
Right.
I'm gonna listen to this.
It's good stuff. So basically, All Systems Goku is them watching 3 to 5 episodes of the recut Dragon Ball Z Kai show, which cut out a lot of the unnecessary filler bullshit in DBZ. So they watch like 3 to 5 episodes, and these are people who have never been been exposed to this stuff through pop culture, but have no real reverence for it, but
Right.
also who have had like decades worth of enjoyment of professional wrestling. So it should not surprise anyone that every week when they posted one of these podcasts, 10 minutes of like the 45-minute to 1 hour runtime was them comparing fucking Mr. Satan to Randy Savage or some stupid shit. But like just hearing their unfettered joy as they found, wow, this is really fun, it kind of took the tension off of me.
Right, where your brain had kind of gone, no, what was I thinking? And then you're like,
Right.
oh, wait a minute. Okay, these are people
right,
looking at
fun.
it now. Right, I forgot. Yeah, no,
So-
I agree. In fact, talking about Dragon Ball with my other guest and now talking about it with you, it just makes me want to go back and sink back into it because I used to love it.
So
Like, love.
Right, me too. So I didn't really go back and start watching Z again because it's old, but I did. But after All Systems Goku completed, they the whole podcast series is done. They've gone through the entirety of all that. They claim that they're going to start up again with something else. Who the hell knows what it's going to be at some point? But I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to start watching Dragon Ball Super because why not? So I got the first 2 movies, Battle of the Gods and Resurrection F, and I watched them, and it's like, at first I was like watching them with like really like low volume because everything in my brain was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like maybe that's just like self-hatred or anxiety or whatever. I don't know. But like within the first 5 minutes of Battle of the Gods, I'm like, okay, let's just let's just sit back, and if my body wants to sit there and just like dump a gallon of water out of my pores in order to try and slip away from this, good luck. I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy this. So I did, and then I did that, and then I started watching Super on I think no, Verve had removed it. I started watching it on Crunchyroll.
Yep.
Because I don't know. I prefer to watch my television shows, not read them. So I didn't really get into the subtitles.
Yep.
And
Nope. I get you.
so I started watching that, and then like after after a week and a half, 2 weeks or whatever, I was like halfway through Super, and I was like, I wonder if that Broly movie is still in theaters, and it was.
Was it? Oh, nice.
It was like the last week that was in theaters. So I'm like, fuck it, yeah, let's go. And I went to see it, and there was like a dozen other people in the theater, and that shit was fucking bonkers.
That's what I've heard. I actually almost went and saw it, having no prior knowledge of Dragon Ball Super.
It doesn't, you don't need it. You don't need it.
So when Bob and I saw, it must have been Infinity War, because it wouldn't have been Endgame, because Super was what Broly was what in the when was Super Broly out?
Ugh, boy, probably like 6 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, so Bob and I went and saw something.
Mhm.
I thought it. When did Infinity War come out?
April of 2018.
Yeah, okay, so it wasn't that, but it wasn't Endgame. I can guarantee that.
Right.
But we went and saw something, and I was in the bathroom outside of the theater, listening to, it was Lego Movie 2,
Okay.
I think is what it was. And there were kids that had seen Super Broly just came out. These are like people that are the age when I would have been into Dragon Ball Z. So they're like, 15, 16, 17 in the bathroom losing their shit over how awesome this movie was.
Okay, dude. Here's how that movie sets up. Like, no plot. It's just okay. It starts after the final episode of Super, but that's unimportant. It's basically just everything's fine. Everybody's gone back to doing their thing. Goku and Vegeta are like just mouthing off to each other. The end. And then like some shit happens. You get some nice backstory on like what the hell was the deal with Frieza's like takeover of the Saiyans and whatever, and like what the hell they did. And it's like, oh well, we send people out and they conquer planets and then sell them. That was their business. That's how that planet stayed. That's how this planet full of macho dude bros stayed afloat.
That's awesome.
That's interesting. But yeah, it's like 45 minutes to an hour of this backstory of how did this character, where this Broly guy come from, whatever. And then literally halfway through the movie, the fighting starts and it doesn't stop. It is like like the whole second half of the second act and the whole of the third act is nonstop fist pummeling, energy blasting, shouting, whatever. It's fucking bonkers, and the animation like kicks into high gear, and like there's certain points where it's like this is too smooth, but it's also very clear this was drawn with pencils or what. It's fucking weird. It gets crazy. But it's also hilarious. And not even just because of how crazy it is. It's just like there is it's really well written. It's you still there?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Just checking. No, I'm definitely still here.
Okay. But yeah, so it was something else. Even if you've fallen off of the train, I strongly recommend it just because it's so much goddamn fun.
I've gotten a lot of thumbs up towards watching this. Is it available to buy yet?
Yes, it is on
All
video.
right. I'm going to have to seek that thing out because I love me some Dragon Ball, and it looked wonderful.
It does, and like right around the time it was coming out, all the allegations against Vic whatever the hell his name is came out. Who I guess voices Broly, and also has been in the voiceover industry forever. I didn't really find it a problem with this, seeing as how his character has maybe 50 words that come out of his mouth, and the rest of his dialogue is various flavors of shouting. So, like. It doesn't really affect this movie. They can replace him and get literally anyone to shout into a microphone for 2 hours.
Nice. So that's awesome. So what else have you seen the new Twilight Zone?
No, I'm not really interested in it. I was never the Twilight. Like I get why it's a cultural touchstone, but that sort of stuff was always like way too close to like horror movies for me, and I'm too much of a wimp for that. Maybe I just got ruined from stumbling upon like Tales of the Crypt or some scarier episodes of The Outer Limits when I was a kid. But yeah, that stuff just skeeves me out. And I don't know why.
So what I was going to say is, it's hit or miss. For a show that's supposed to be about twists and kind of leaving the audience in the dark, it over explains itself from time to time. That I think is a little bit jarring.
Well, but think about the audience it's playing to nowadays.
That's true too. But I kind of sat there and go, yeah, I really didn't need you telling me that. That was kind of obvious. Thanks, Joe. But Jordan Peele is a really good host, and he nails his part of it. So I'm pretty psyched about it.
I feel like you could type the sentence Jordan Peele is a pretty good and then just leave it to someone's imagination and it would still be accurate.
Yeah, no, he fits the Rod Serling shoes really well. He's giving it his own spin, but I like it. I'm also hearing today that Toy Story 4 is actually good. I didn't expect that. It didn't look good.
I mean, I thought it looked fine from the trailers. Like I have had too many arguments with my buddy Will because he did not like Toy Story 3. He said it was.
Oh, see, I love Toy Story.
I love Toy Story 3, and this is why. Look, Will is like the only other Jew I know here in Utah. So of course, and him and I are both absurdly opinionated, and both assume our opinion is the correct one. So we get into verbal spats all the time about like the most inconsequential bullshit.
Yeah, I didn't know there were people out there that didn't like Toy Story 3. I just felt that Toy Story 4 looked like it was the first one I've seen the trailer for that looked like it was treading down already beaten roads. And so I was like, oh, I don't need to see any more of this. Bummer. But I hear it's really good.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. Pixar is still Pixar. They aren't nearly as untouchable as they used to be. But
that's going to happen when you make incredible movies for so long.
Yeah, no one can keep that streak up forever. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen.
Even the reminder I bring up people when they bring that up is I go, these people also made Inside Out like 3 years ago. Like it hasn't been like, oh, they've sucked for 10 years. Okay, so every once in a while one's lesser good. Mm-hmm. So maybe they make a B- every once in a while, guys. Come on.
They still got a better fucking track record than Illumination does. So
and they're making Mario.
I know. I'm trying to reserve judgment until we see anything from this.
But... Just like I'll tell you what, I'm still trying to reserve judgment for the damn Sonic movie because even though I think that isn't going to be good, and I think the trailer doesn't necessarily look good, I feel like I've seen enough genuine, hey, I'm trying to do something good here from the guy making it, that maybe that's just really good marketing, but also he seems to be saying the right things in response to people shitting on his movie, which is better than, some people do.
You know what? I want to give the movie the benefit of the doubt.
It has everything against it.
It has everything against it.
Stacked
But
against
you know what?
it.
Look, I am going to get dragged to that. Will is going to be like, I am going to go see this because I insist on seeing every movie. But if I have to see this, you have to see this too.
My weird take though is on the over/under is I think it's going to be better than Mario. And I feel bad feeling that way. I just don't get a good feeling out of Illumination handling Mario. I don't think Illumination is a bad company. No. I just don't think they're right. I don't think they're the right fit.
I just read an article. Do you know the Oatmeal, Matthew Inman?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So apparently, he was hired by Illumination to do some pickup work on Secret Life of Pets 2.
Okay.
To punch it up a bit, um, and do some storyboarding or
To
whatever.
make it
So
not suck like the first one.
I thought the first one was inoffensive. I thought
Yeah, yeah. No, sorry.
maybe
I
I'm
think I'm,
just a, s-
I
maybe I'm
think I'm
just a
being a
sucker
little
for
too harsh on
dogs.
it. No, no, I agree with you. The animals and stuff were adorable. I just
Sure.
thought the movie was. I felt like their first trailer was selling some Pixar level stuff.
Yeah, it definitely was poorly advertised. But you know what? You can't blame the studio for that.
No, you can't.
You blame the marketing team for that.
Whereas I felt the first Despicable Me was actually far more than what I thought they were selling.
Yeah, and I didn't see any of those movies.
Oh,
They just
the first one is phenomenal. The
is
first
it really?
it's nowhere near Pixar level, but it's that kind of like, wow, this is something different. Okay. Like it's not the movie they were selling. The second and third one are basically the movie they were selling, but the first one was not. It was something different. It had a lot of heart to it. I really liked it.
Okay.
It had something going on under the surface, you know?
Well, might check that out at some point.
Yeah,
But
it's not a bad one, but everything
right.
else they've done is kind of just like, ugh.
So anyway, on Matthew Inman's blog, he brought up they had done this pickup work, and I guess he did such a good job that he's going to be helming one of their movies in the future.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They gave the Oatmeal carte blanche to do a movie for Illumination.
Oh. Well, that's intriguing. Just don't let it be a sequel to The Grinch.
Good God.
What a miscalculation that was.
Oh boy.
And that was my brother's reaction. I asked him about The Grinch, and I said, "How was it?" And he goes, "Inoffensive." And I go, "That's not a good sign." And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, it's just there's nothing there, dude.
It's lettuce. Quick,
Yeah.
without thinking, describe the taste of lettuce.
Water.
Yeah, that's not a taste. Okay, hold on, wait. I counter that with, okay, then, smartass, describe the taste of water.
Lettuce.
Fuck off.
Describe the taste of fine. Describe the taste of damn it, broccoli. Shut up.
Okay, broccoli actually has a taste.
Yes.
I cannot describe it because I am not a fucking molecular gastronomer.
Broccoli
but it
tastes
does
like
have a taste.
steam. No.
I wouldn't know every time I've ever had broccoli, I dip it in ranch or whatever.
Oh,
so.
see, so then you're not actually eating the broccoli.
There you go.
It's just a ranch delivery service.
That's right. That's right. Same thing with baby carrots.
That's right. That's right. It's the old thing where you finally look at the calories on a packet of salad dressing and go, "Hey, wait a minute. This packet of salad dressing from McDonald's is 3 cheeseburgers." Yes, it is, motherfucker.
It's not about actually eating healthy. It's about lying to yourself.
It's exactly what it is. I will say though, I do feel better after I eat a salad than if I eat a cheeseburger.
That is fair. Yes, you do. You always do. It's like, well, at least I made some attempt. Even if I drowned it in dressing, at least I put in the effort to choke down these stupid leaves.
I drowned it in dressing and ate a loaf of garlic bread with it. Wait a minute.
I think the cheeseburger might have actually had fewer calories. Whatever.
It probably did. It's the fat. Oh, well, we'll focus on the fat now. Sorry, that ranch has. Damn it! Shut up. Oh,
Stop ruining things for people.
So
just let people enjoy things.
So what do you think the next big thing coming out this summer that's actually going to be worth waiting for is going to be, Mason?
Like as far like
movies. Let's go with movies, but in general. I've kind of lost hope. No, I'm kidding. But
I need to pull on. I need to pull up a list of the movies that are coming out so I can tell you.
Like for example, I think this Fast and the Furious spinoff will be entertaining.
That's gonna be fun as hell. That's gonna be a great time.
So that'll probably be at least the surest chance of getting something fun to watch. I don't know when it comes up. But did you see the trailer for Ad Astra?
Yeah, that looks fucking
That looks awesome.
bonkers. That looks fucking crazy.
I think Child's Play is doing a great job at stunt casting their voice for Chucky, but won't be good.
Mm,
Um,
that movie's gonna be dog shit.
I love the idea of Mark Hamill doing the voice, though. I just love Mark Hamill.
I love Mark Hamill too, but
But
you
that is
know what?
total stunt
It,
casting.
it's stunt casting, and they're, you know what? 4 months after that movie is released, someone's gonna take it, chop out all the parts where Mark Hamill is doing his Chucky voice, post the compilation to YouTube, and be done with it.
Right.
That's it. That's all we're getting.
What do you think? How do you think Men in Black International is going to turn out?
Man,
I like the cast.
I love I love Tessa Thompson. I love Chris Hemsworth. They have great. They have
doesn't
great.
look very good though. That's my
I
problem.
mean, here's the thing: you can get away with a lot if your two leads are having fun with it, and they very clearly are having fun with it. But then again, there's only been one good Men in Black movie.
Yes, that is true. And it was called Ghostbusters. No, I love the first Men in Black.
No, Men in Black's great.
That's just
But
I will say this: it's 2 hours and 0 minutes long, which means at least it wasn't cut to make money.
hooray! We'll see.
I mean, no, when
we'll
you see the 1 hour 35-minute thing come up, you're like with Warcraft.
Yeah. Oh God.
You're like, oh no.
We will never get a director's cut of Warcraft.
It's a shame because Duncan Jones put his all into that, and I don't hate that movie. It's a missed opportunity, but I don't hate it.
You know what? I enjoyed that movie a lot better than most, and I watched your brother. I remember I watched your brother's review, and everything
he dislikes it way more than me. Yeah,
he dislikes it, and you know what the thing is? Everything he said is accurate. I can't fault the movie. I felt
so bad. He called me up after seeing the movie when he was going home that night to write his review, and he goes, "Oh, I saw Warcraft," and I was like, "How was it?" And he goes, "Let me preempt this. I got to meet Duncan Jones before I watched it, and it's the first time I ever met Duncan Jones, and he is so jazzed about his movie." And he was such a fan, and he was so fun to talk to, and he got me really amped up. And then I watched it, and I felt so bad for him. And I'm like, "Oh, that sucks, Bob." He goes, "I know." He goes, "He really, really, really was trying his ass off to make a great movie." And I went, "Oh, that sucks."
Okay. How do you think The Lion King is going to turn out?
So, I'm in a rare side of people that I actually quite enjoy these Disney live action remakes. And I know that it's a kind of popular opinion to shit on them. And I agree that it's kind of Disney just kind of masturbating for a little while and going, "Hey, look, we already did this once. We can do it again. And we know you'll show up." But I also think it gives them a chance to, I'm not going to say delete the original movie, because anytime there's a remake of anything, in my opinion, it never deletes the original. I like remakes that elevate the original or have something new to say. And so I like what they've done with most of their remakes, because they've been able to either retcon story decisions that were kind of silly in the original that don't work nowadays, or take out some inherent racism that was in an older one that just wouldn't work now, and kind of get a chance to kind of like wink at it and do it again to varying degrees of success. I heard the new Dumbo movie was terrible.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I actually, I don't know if you've seen it, but I really liked the new Aladdin.
You know what? Me and my friend went to saw that like two weeks ago or so.
I wouldn't call it a great movie, but I really liked it.
It was, you know what? It was all right. I appreciate. I found myself not nearly as turned off by Will Smith's genie as I assumed I would.
He was charming.
He was, he was, when he was allowed to just be, magic life coach. Yeah, that was fun.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Everything that was new about the new Aladdin, I loved. And that was a lot of the movie, so that made me happy.
I can't go that far, because my biggest problem with the movie was Jafar, for all the dimension they tried to give him, was fucking boring.
Sorry, I just forget he was even in the movie, so that's why I didn't include him in my last statement.
Oh, well, I was a thief. See, I was a thief too, and I had to claw for everything I got. Yeah, okay, good for you.
It's
But
almost
you know what? But when the magic blue Will Smith gives you infinite magic power, it's okay to just be a little manic and start nibbling on the scenery a bit. It's all right.
yeah.
Like he was turned into a fucking genie and he was just like, "Oh, this is weird."
It's almost like they wrote a really clever idea for Jafar and then said, "Well, we wrote something really cool, so we can stop trying now."
Yeah.
And
It's like look, it's this is like the lazy man's version of making a D&D character. There, I've given him a very interesting origin, so now when I play him, it can be the most rote and boring wizard you've all seen a billion times.
exactly. So back to Aladdin. I enjoyed Aladdin enough. I feel that the two biggest successes they've had have been Cinderella and The Jungle Book. And Cinderella because it did something almost inherently different by being not a cartoon.
Hmm.
It took it very seriously. It was like a serious period drama. And then I loved The Jungle Book by basically being a live action adaptation of The Jungle Book. And I use live action in quotes because
Yeah.
by live action, they're doing that not hand animated.
Hmm.
It's just because most of The Jungle Book was digital.
Right.
But I like that they fixed the story
Yes.
because the way The Jungle Book ends originally is
I know.
really
It's
doesn't make
just
any
it's
sense.
sudden. It's like I don't want to go to the man village. I don't want to
Yeah,
go to the man village. I don't want to go to the man village. Hey, a lady who looks like me singing about water.
yeah.
Okay, I guess I do want to go to the man village.
So and
Like
that was
the fuck?
and that was entirely John Favreau's choice to
Mhm,
change, and I really like John Favreau,
mhm.
and I think he's been doing a lot of great stuff. I mean, he's an executive producer on all the Marvel movies. He made The
Yep.
Jungle Book. He's directing The Lion King,
Yep.
and I don't know if you knew this, but he's one of the creators and showrunners of The Orville, which
I did
I
not
don't
know
I
that.
don't really like Seth MacFarlane all that more. I don't like his shows all that much. I like Seth MacFarlane. I think he
Right.
seems like an all right guy, but I love The Orville.
I have
Like
not
The
seen it.
Orville just makes me smile. He basically went, "I'm making Star Trek. It's just not going to be called Star Trek. Here you go." And
Okay.
so there's not that much more of a joke there. Like the characters are funny, but it's not a comedy. So
I might have to check that out at some
so
point.
I enjoy it. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I think
Mhm.
it's fun. So with that, it's my long way of getting to the fact that I think he's going to do a bang up job on The Lion King, and I think The Lion King looks good. With that, I don't really know what more it has to say.
That's you know what? I think it'll be interesting because it obviously has a lot more actors of African descent in the movie. As
Right,
we're not getting Matthew Broderick as Simba again. So
right.
it'll what maybe just by having black actors play these clearly African characters it'll be enough. Who the hell knows though? I mean, some of these, like some of the choices are inspired. Fucking Chiwetel Ejiofor as goddamn Scar. That's gonna be something else.
Oh yeah,
Because like anybody who saw Doctor Strange know that he's really good at playing like the villain that thinks that thinks he's the hero, that thinks he's doing the right thing.
yep.
So we'll see. Good on them for getting James Earl Jones back to basically just repeat his lines as Mufasa from the animated version 25 years
Yeah,
ago.
and sounds like he's doing a different take on the voice too for
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, yeah. It's different. It's different enough, and I mean that's not just because he's 25 years older. It's but
No,
I.
it sounds like he's intentionally giving it a different
Mhm.
take on the character, and I like that.
Well, The Lion King is a movie that everybody of the right age has seen about 50 times. So
Oh yeah.
everybody every opportunity I got as a kid. I've seen this movie a billion times. Let's see. The school is giving me a choice of watching The Lion King or going to hang out in the computer lab. I'm gonna watch The Lion King again
Oh yeah.
because I'm dumb. But here, check this out, Chris. I'm going to attempt a massive segue.
Sweet. And then I love talking to you, and I'd like to have you on again. But I will say, after massive segue, I'd like to wrap up because we've been going for an hour and a half, and it's
Okay.
1:30 in the morning for me.
Oh goodness. Okay.
But
So
that's okay.
So I know that John Favreau did a lot of his direction in The Lion King inside virtual reality because They built the sets. They built the sets virtually and then used consumer grade VR hardware in order to insert the director in there so we could sit there and point out, no, I want this over here. I want the camera here.
Exactly how they did Tintin with Steven Spielberg, actually.
I did not know that. So I'm going to use that as a segue to ask, have you ever tried VR?
No. I've tried cheap in-home like cardboard VR.
That doesn't really count.
Yeah, that's the only kind I've done, and I actually really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
So I could imagine like Oculus is probably pretty kick-ass, and then something higher than that.
Okay, so I just got an Oculus Quest. Now I have been on the VR train since 2016. I have a Vive. I am absolutely getting Steam's new headset at the end of the month.
And Oculus Quest is the headset that's the video game system, right?
That is the $400. Yeah, that's the $400 completely standalone. You don't need a computer. You don't need anything else. You give them the money. You put on the headset. You draw a square around yourself, and you're golden. It takes 10 seconds to set up. And
is it awesome?
Okay. Again, I have the HTC Vive. If I'm comparing them, the Vive it works, and it works amazingly well, but it's very technological. You can understand how it works because you have to hang the lighthouses that sit there and blast infrared lasers throughout the room, and then the headset and the controllers catch those lasers and use math to figure out where they are.
Right.
That's technological. The Quest uses 4 cameras, and it just fucking works the second you put it on your face. So that shit feels like it was made by the dwarves of Moria. That shit feels magical. It should not work
so they went and made the Apple product version of VR, where just you turn it on and it does it.
Yeah, kind of. Like, it legit. I don't know how the fuck it works. I'm too stupid to understand it. And anyone who's tried to look at John Carmack's Twitter feed probably finds themselves in those shoes of, I'm too stupid to understand this. If you've looked at John Carmack's Twitter feed, it's literally pretty much all code and him using language that just doesn't sound like English anymore.
Jesus.
But yeah,
I need to go and find a Quest.
I'm saying go to your local Best Buy, see if you can demo one, because it's something else.
What have you played on it?
I got Vader Immortal, which is a episodic Star Wars game, where you are just a smuggler. You get pulled down to Mustafar for something that Vader wants you to do, because he's trying to find someone with a specific blood heritage, because of course. Here's the thing, Darth Vader, very tall.
Yes.
Lots of people don't realize that, but Vader's motherfucking imposing. But what's cool about this is, I'm not sure if it's doing this, but I feel like it is. I'm pretty sure, because the Quest knows where the floor is, so I'm pretty sure it scales the world to the player's height, so that Darth Vader is always
like a
taller.
Foot taller than you.
He is always taller than you. It doesn't matter how tall you are, and it works shockingly well, because the first episode is $10. It's like an hour and a half long experience. Vader's only in a few scenes, but when he shows up, your jaw drops, and it's like, I don't want to piss off this virtual representation of the Dark Lord of the Sith, because he will reach through my fucking VR glasses and rip out my eyeballs.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
It is, like, between that and Super Hot VR, which basically makes you feel like Keanu Reeves in the later Matrix movies with his much fucking cool guy shit you can do. I strongly recommend, at the very least, trying it out.
Oh, absolutely. It's more of, I haven't got the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something I'm interested in. PAX, I wanted to try it, and there was too long of a line for all the VR booths, which would have been really cool.
Well, it's on store shelves now, so there's nothing really stopping anybody other than the fact that it's been sold out everywhere.
$400, yeah, well, sold out.
You know what? The $400 I don't think is a huge is a huge block, because if that was the case, the video game console industry wouldn't be
Would be
what it
dead.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People wouldn't have an Xbox 360 for every room, or Xbox One for the 3 rooms of their house they play it in.
Right.
Yeah. Jesus.
But I mean, if you think about it, this is even cheaper, because at least this you don't have to own a fucking TV.
No, I like the idea of that. I really do. I think the biggest thing that was holding back me from thinking about VR was the fact that I had to have a really good computer that could run it.
Well,
You
no
know?
more. No
Yeah.
more.
That's cool. Speaking of really good computers that can run things, even though I just have I upgraded to a Surface to do all this podcasting and everything else, and it's really nice. It's amazing how well a Surface pretends that it's a laptop, and I think that's really cool. But it runs the new Resident Evil 2 game so nice. Have you
Oh,
played that?
I'm not really into the survival horror
Yeah.
stuff.
I
But
see that was one of my first PlayStation 2 experiences, a PlayStation 1, sorry, from when I was younger, and seeing it redone makes me so happy. I have to keep putting it down though. The game scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
It's they upped the ante on how fucking intense it is. I can tell you that. And I was just thinking about how that would be as a VR experience. It would probably give me a heart attack.
Well, remember when they made Resident Evil 7 a couple years ago,
They had
that
a
game
VR.
that game is fully, if you have a PlayStation VR, it's fully playable. For whatever reason, the VR mode is not available on the PC, which makes no fucking sense to me.
Already have it available. That's weird.
Yeah, like why would you not?
It was just
you
to
know,
sell PlayStation
it would,
VR.
whatever. Hey, PlayStation VR has sold, has probably done more for the VR, quote unquote, industry than most things have. So
That's awesome.
I can't sit there. I can't sit there and give Sony too much shit for doing the whole, cheap jack VR built on our old
Exactly.
system.
Well, man, it has been an absolute blast talking to you again, and I think we're just gonna have to keep doing this because I think we get along real well on this. But I'm gonna say, is there anything you want to plug or pitch to the world before we wrap this up?
Nothing of mine, but if anybody listening cares, and you absolutely should, because it's for a good cause. It is it is getting to be the middle of June, which means that in a couple weeks, Summer Games Done Quick will take over a week of my life. That's the biannual speedrunning marathon, Games Done Quick, where they raise millions of dollars for Doctors Without Borders or Prevent
that's
Cancer
awesome.
Foundation or whatever. I love watching that shit every year, even though it's just fun to watch people be so absurdly good at video games in the most ridiculous way possible.
When that's happening, can you send me the link so I can share it around? Because I'll forget.
Oh, 1,000%.
Please do.
It's just
That's awesome, dude.
Everybody check out gamesdonequick.com. That is where you'll find it. I believe it starts June 23rd. Not 100% certain. Yeah,
yes.
June 23rd through 30th.
Awesome.
So I strong, it's a week long bunch, like they speed run like 100 plus games. They always have a tool assisted block where they have a robot do shit that is just the most bonkers shit you've ever seen, which shouldn't even be possible. I saw one year they had a robot basically hack Super Mario World and just in real time and reprogram Super Mario Maker into it.
Nice. That's awesome. Oh, Super Mario Maker.
Oh, that's going to be so much fun when that comes out in the end of the month.
Can't wait. All right, man. Well, I'm passing out, so I'm going to thank you again, Mason, for joining me for a second time, and everybody out there. Since I didn't plug it at the beginning, I do 4 podcasts. And again, thank you, Mason, for shooting the shit with Chippa, and thank you all for listening. And I'll talk to you all again soon.